The Path of the Seer, Why the Awakened Man Must Walk Alone. Imagine walking through your life, surrounded by countless people, yet feeling profoundly as though your path stretches in a direction that virtually no one else dares to follow. Think deeply about the moments when you felt inherently different, when you carried questions that others quickly dismissed as trivial, or when your insatiable hunger for truth placed you at odds with the comfortable, predictable conformity of the crowd. What if I told you that this pervasive, persistent sense of separation is not a curse, not a punishment, but a clear, powerful sign of something far greater and more demanding? Today, we will uncover why the chosen man, the individual destined to awaken to deeper, uncomfortable truths, always walks alone. And stay with me until the very end, because the last, ultimate revelation we will explore is the most powerful of all. It is a truth that could forever change the way you see your place, your purpose, and your destiny in this world. Before we begin this critical journey, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Leave a like if these ideas resonate, and share your most honest thoughts in the comments below. This conversation is not just about abstract ideas. It is acutely about you, your inner journey, and the invisible forces shaping your life's trajectory. Share this with someone who is searching for genuine meaning, because what we are about to discuss could become the essential turning point of their inner path. The solitude of vision. Let us start by asking, why is solitude the inevitable destiny of the one who sees deeper? Alan Watts often articulated that the individual who begins to truly awaken to the mysteries of life instantly discovers a profound dissonance between himself and the established structures of society. It is as if he is suddenly tuned to a frequency that others cannot hear, while the masses remain absorbed in the relentless pursuit of survival, tedious routine, and stifling convention. The chosen man feels the immense weight of eternity pressing upon his shoulders. He intuitively senses that there is vastly more than mere appearances, that life is not solely about accumulating possessions, achieving superficial success, or securing social approval. He becomes haunted by the invisible. This heightened inner perception is simultaneous. Here is not simply physical isolation. It is not merely being without company. It is a solitude of the soul, a deep, persistent recognition that few, if any, can genuinely understand the depth of your thoughts, the intensity of your visions, or the sheer magnitude of your existential questions. Have you ever felt that when you attempted to share your most profound realizations, people looked at you as if you spoke an entirely different, alien language? That is the unmistakable solitude of the chosen man. Yet this solitude is absolutely necessary. It ruthlessly sharpens the mind. It purifies the heart. It prepares the spirit for the monumental task ahead. Alan Watts taught that life's deepest, most fundamental truths reveal themselves only in silence, only when we intentionally step away from the overwhelming noise of constant distraction. Solitude becomes the forge where character is tempered, where emotional clarity arises, and where one's inner alignment is secured. Consider the historical precedent. The great prophets, the most profound philosophers, and the radical thinkers often spent long, arduous seasons of their lives apart from conventional society. Jesus in the desert, Buddha under the Bodhi tree, Nietzsche wandering the Alps. These were not random accidents, but essential formative phases of their awakening. Without solitude, there is no depth. Without the courage to walk alone, there is no discovery of the authentic self. The fear of loneliness is a powerful human impulse. The heart naturally craves connection and belonging. And so when the chosen man realizes that his journey explicitly requires walking apart, he feels the sharp sting of rejection and the chill of abandonment. But here lies a critical paradox. In learning to be fully alone, he discovers a deeper, more enduring form of union. By deliberately detaching from superficial, conditional bonds, he begins to connect profoundly with the universe itself.
Watts once described this experience as the ocean realizing that every wave, no matter how separate it may appear, is still an integral part of the whole. Walking alone is not a sentence of exile. It is an initiation into unity on a higher, non-local level. So ask yourself now, have you mistakenly labeled your solitude as weakness, when in fact it might be your single
cosmos? That is why the chosen man must walk alone. But this is only the beginning. What comes next will take us deeper still. We will explore how solitude fundamentally transforms perception, how it radically redefines success, and how it allows the chosen man to see profound truths invisible to the multitude. Stay with me, because in the end, we will uncover the ultimate sacred reason why walking alone is not only necessary, but sacred, the most powerful truth of all. The crucible of authenticity. The journey of the chosen man is never intended to be comfortable or easy. Alan Watts often emphasized that life is a dynamic dance of opposites: joy and sorrow, belonging and alienation, clarity and confusion. To awaken to this dance is to realize that solitude, rather than being an empty void, is a highly effective mirror. When the chosen man walks alone, he comes face to face with his true self, without distraction, without social masks. And it is in that severe silence that he begins to see exactly who he truly is. Think of it in practical terms. When surrounded by others, most people unconsciously wear a social costume. They constantly adjust their behavior to fit expectations, to desperately avoid rejection, or to earn temporary praise. But when you walk alone, there is literally no audience to perform for. There is no applause, no judgment, only you. That, precisely, is when authenticity begins its difficult, liberating work. Carl Jung once wisely stated, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Yet, how can one achieve this deepest privilege if he never spends significant time in solitude, intentionally stripped of the illusions imposed by the crowd? The chosen man understands that solitude is not merely separation, it is revelation. In solitude, he discovers that his fundamental worth does not and cannot come from the approval of others, but from an internal alignment with truth. He learns to aggressively question the pervasive stories that society tells, that success is measured only by wealth, that happiness depends on rigid conformity, that meaning comes from what you own. He begins to see through these illusions like a man awakening from a heavy dream. This awakening, however, completely apart. But why does this purified vision matter so intensely? Because it radically changes how the chosen man lives. While society relentlessly rushes toward achievement, competition, and material accumulation, the solitary one learns to value depth over speed, essence over appearance. He begins to see that the true treasures of life are not material, but experiential: wisdom, presence, love, creativity, and transcendence. In his solitude, he discovers that the universe itself is alive within him. Still, the chosen man's heightened vision can be heavy to carry. Imagine knowing difficult truths that others cannot bear to hear. Imagine perceiving the terrifying emptiness behind society's frantic, superficial chase, while those around you laugh and celebrate mere illusions. It is like standing on a majestic mountain, looking down at a frenzied carnival where everyone is intoxicated, utterly unaware that the ground beneath them is perilously fragile. To carry this profound awareness without collapsing into despair requires immense strength. That strength is forged only in solitude. And here lies the necessary paradox. Solitude does not make the chosen man weaker. It builds within him unbreakable resilience. By learning to walk without applause, he becomes truly independent of praise. By enduring misunderstanding, he becomes functionally immune to rejection. By facing the silence,
He becomes the master of his own turbulent mind. This is why solitude is not loneliness. It is training. Like a dedicated warrior preparing in secret, the chosen man learns discipline, patience, and endurance, quietly waiting for the moment when his vision must be shared with the wider world. Let us pause and reflect. Have you felt the profound, wrenching tension between your authentic inner truth and the relentless expectations of society? Have you noticed how deeply uncomfortable people become when you subtly challenge the comfortable illusions they cling to? Share your experiences in the comments, because your story is not just your own. It is a reflection of a universal, timeless journey, one that countless souls throughout history have walked before you. Alan Watts once illustrated this with the metaphor of the game of hide and seek. Life itself is a grand play of concealment and revelation. The chosen man, by intention,
to discover that he's never truly alone. Beneath the stillness, there is a profound presence, the pulse of life itself. The mystery that Alan Watts called the Tao, the great infinite current that flows through all things. This is the deeper truth. By walking alone, the chosen man begins to viscerally realize he's one with everything. His solitude transforms into communion with the infinite. He no longer needs constant validation from others because he has touched the source. He no longer fears abandonment because he has discovered the eternal companionship of existence itself. This is what fundamentally transforms solitude from isolation into liberation. The path of the chosen man is fundamentally paradoxical. He is alone, yet profoundly united. He is misunderstood, yet in touch with ultimate truth. He is rejected by society, yet embraced by the universe. This paradox is what gives him his immense spiritual power. It allows him to live not as a prisoner of culture, but as a free spirit, guided by an unwavering inner vision. But the story does not conclude here. In the next part, we will explore something even more profound: how the solitude of the chosen man reshapes his entire destiny, how it redefines love, success, and purpose, and how it prepares him to influence the world in ways the crowd cannot even begin to imagine. And remember, the final revelation will be the most powerful of all. Stay with me, because what is coming may change forever how you see solitude, destiny, and the true meaning of being chosen. The cosmic destiny and the gift of return. To walk alone is to embrace a destiny that few have the strength to endure. Yet, it is precisely in this essential loneliness that true greatness takes root. Alan Watts once remarked that you are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. The chosen man, walking apart, begins to sense this truth in ways that others rarely do. Solitude opens his eyes not just to himself, but to the vastness of existence reflected within him. Think of solitude as a crucible, a sacred fire where the chosen man's destiny is forged. While the crowd measures life by external achievements, status, possessions, and fleeting applause, the solitary man measures life by away from false paths, no matter how tempting they initially appear. What is celebrated on the outside fades quickly. What is cultivated in solitude endures forever. Consider the words of Søren Kierkegaard, who wrote that the crowd is untruth. To follow the multitude is to be swallowed by illusions, to exchange your soul for mere comfort. But to walk alone is to confront the truth of existence, raw, essential, and unfiltered. The chosen man does not walk alone because he despises others, but because truth itself requires space, silence, and distance from the herd. He knows that wisdom cannot be found in echo chambers, but in the stillness of solitude, where the eternal whispers. But solitude does more than refine his vision of truth and success. It profoundly transforms his capacity for love. At first, this seems completely paradoxical. How can someone who walks alone understand love more deeply than those constantly surrounded by others? And yet,
It is precisely because of solitude that the chosen man learns the essence of love. When most people love, they desperately cling. They confuse attachment with genuine affection, possession with devotion. But the solitary man, having endured the silence of true aloneness, learns that true love is not dependency, it is freedom. He does not love because he needs, but because he overflows. Having discovered spiritual completeness within himself, he can offer love purely as a gift, not as a desperate bargain. Alan Watts often explained that love is like music. It is beautiful not because it leads somewhere, but because it is to be enjoyed in the moment. The chosen man, freed from the illusion of need, understands this truth in his very being. This also changes how he relates to others. Though he walks apart, his solitude enables him to connect more authentically when he does encounter kindred spirits. His relationships are not built on masks or shallow roles, but on the true meeting of souls. And while such encounters may be rare, they carry a depth that superficial connections can never reach. Have you ever felt that profound sense of meeting someone who instantly sees beyond appearances, who speaks directly to the deepest part of your being? This is the gift solitude bestows.
Socrates, condemned in Athens. To Giordano Bruno, burned for daring to speak of infinite worlds. To countless visionaries silenced because they disturbed the comfortable illusions of their age. The chosen ones have always walked alone, but their solitude was not wasted. It was the rich soil in which seeds of transformation were planted, seeds that would one day bear fruit for all humanity. This brings us to the fourth revelation. Solitude prepares the chosen man not only for his own growth, but for his mission in the world. Though he begins by walking apart, eventually his path leads back to humanity. But when he returns with a gift. He carries insights that can awaken others, truths that can challenge and liberate. His solitude was never meant to end in permanent exile. It was meant to shape him into a vessel of transformation. Let us pause and reflect together. Has your solitude ever revealed a purpose greater than yourself? Have you sensed that the very isolation you once resented was preparing you to offer something unique and essential to the world? Write your reflections in the comments, because someone else may find strength in your story, just as you may find courage in theirs. Alan Watts often reminded us that life is like a play, and each of us is both the actor and the audience. The chosen man realizes that his unique role cannot be written by others, nor can it be dictated by the expectations of the crowd. His solitude allows him to write his own script, to live as an authentic, uncompromised expression of the universe itself. And while this may set him apart, it also places him in perfect harmony with the deeper rhythm of existence. So remember this: solitude is not simply absence, it is presence of a higher kind. It redefines success, reshapes love, and prepares the chosen man for a mission larger than his own life. But we have not yet reached the heart of the mystery. The final part of this journey will reveal the ultimate truth, the reason why the chosen man must always walk alone, and why this solitude is not a burden, but a sacred destiny. Stay with me, because the last revelation is the most powerful and final of all. The ultimate unity, why the chosen man was entrusted. There is a moment in every genuine journey when there is profoundly merged with something far greater. He belongs not to the tribe, but to the cosmos. He is no longer confined by the narrow, fragile identity of culture, nation, or social role. He has discovered himself as a child of infinity. This is the ultimate reason why a chosen man always walks alone. Because his path is not bound by the limited, well-trodden roads of human convention. His journey is cosmic. His solitude is the sacred space where eternity and time finally meet. While others chase shadows, he touches substance. While the many cling to illusions of permanence, he embraces impermanence
and flows effortlessly with the dance of existence itself. This is not an easy truth to carry. To realize you are one with the whole can be overwhelming. It requires the spiritual strength to let go of every false anchor, to stand naked in the vastness of being, with nothing to cling to but truth itself. This is why solitude is not for everyone. Only those called to awaken, only those chosen to see beyond the veil, can endure it. But those who do find freedom beyond measure. Alan Watts often explained that what we fear as loneliness is simply the illusion of being separate. He compared it to a wave thinking it is apart from the ocean, when in reality it has never been separate for a single moment. The chosen man, through sustained solitude, finally awakens to this truth. He is the wave, yes, but he is also the ocean. His solitude was never emptiness. It was the path to union with the infinite. And now consider how this ultimate revelation transforms everything. When the chosen man understands that he is the universe awakening to itself, loneliness vanishes, fear dissolves, rejection loses its sting. Even death itself is no longer terrifying, because he knows he is not confined to this temporary form. He walks alone, yet he carries all of existence within him. This is why his life takes on a different rhythm. He no longer seeks constant distraction, because he has found peace in silence. He no longer craves recognition, because he knows his worth comes from the eternal. He no longer fears being misunderstood, because truth is not measured by popularity.
Their time, often ridiculed, sometimes rejected. Yet, their solitude gave birth to wisdom that outlived empires, ideas that still shape our lives today. They walked alone, but through their solitude, they became bridges between the human and the eternal. This is the destiny of the chosen man, not to remain apart forever, but to return bearing gifts of truth. So ask yourself now, could it be that your solitude is not punishment, but a calling? Could it be that the very loneliness you wrestle with is shaping you into someone capable of carrying light into the darkness of this world? Reflect on this deeply and share your thoughts in the comments. Your words may touch someone who feels lost in their own solitude, reminding them that they too are chosen. Alan Watts once described life as a cosmic game of hide and seek, where the universe forgets itself only to rediscover itself anew. The chosen man is the one who catches on to the game, who sees behind the masks, who realizes that beneath all separations there is unity. And though this realization sets him apart, it also unites him with everything. This is why he walks alone, not because he is lost, but because he has been found. Not because he is empty, but because he has touched fullness. Not because he rejects the world, but because he carries within him a world that is too vast for the crowd to comprehend. His solitude is sacred. His journey is destiny. His loneliness is the echo of eternity calling him home. So remember, if you feel alone, it may be because you are being prepared. If you walk a path that others cannot understand, it may be because your vision is meant to pierce through the fog of illusion. And if solitude feels heavy, know this: it is shaping you into one who will one day bring light to others still trapped in darkness. The chosen man always walks alone, not because he must escape, but because he must awaken. And in that awakening, he discovers the greatest truth of all: that to walk alone with truth is far greater than to walk with the many in illusion. This is the destiny, the burden, and the ultimate gift of the chosen one.